Hey everyone, welcome to Goodbye Dudley. I'm Chris King.
I'm Alexander Void.
Today we're doing our Comic-Con 2014 rundown. The first studio we're going to start off with is Legendary, who is now part of Universal. So, what did you think about Legendary's and Universal's convention?
You know, there's a lot of stuff in there. I have this respect for Legendary. I actually really like Legendary. Something that they barely talked about was Pacific Rim. So I'm actually very interested in Pacific Rim 2. I love Part 1, so I was really excited for Part 2. And of course, what we got now is Godzilla.
Godzilla 2 was announced. So, you saw the first one, correct?
Of course.
So, you saw it, and I've always been a really big Godzilla fan. I actually have not seen Godzilla, this reboot, just yet. I've been very hesitant with it. I know a lot of people actually really love the film, and I'm going to go and hopefully just be able to really like it as well. Or catch it on Blu-ray or something like that down the line. But I'm glad to hear that this series is thriving. You know, obviously they have a lot of big plans of it, and especially now that Legendary is no longer part of Warner Brothers, which I'm sad to see them go because they've given us so many awesome movies over the years. So yeah, Inception is just being one of them, like, that are just really awesome. So I'm sure they're gonna do a lot of good stuff with these monsters. The biggest thing to come out of Legendary Universal is that we now know that their direction is going to be these big monster movies. Starting off with Godzilla 2.
Yeah, Godzilla 1 was really cool. Not really spoilers, but my issue with it was actually the human interaction. It's the same problem I had with Transformers, just focus more on Transformers rather than the humans. But the problem with Transformers is its own thing. We can't even tell from Transformer to Transformer. But for Godzilla, is that we wanted to see more Godzilla battles. And now that there's more monsters that are unveiled just recently, it seems like they will be focusing more on Godzilla and his fights, which was the best part of the movie. And of course, that leads on to King Kong.
Yeah, King Kong, Skull Island was announced.
Yes.
And this, of course, is referring to the island that this whole series takes place on. More importantly, being the first prequel to King Kong that we've ever gotten in the past, decades about this film franchise. So King Kong's a very rich kind of story. I haven't really been a fan of any of the movies in specific. I've always been a fan of the bigger picture. This bigger picture of having King Kong being assimilated into America, under kind of like it has a very, very big slavery agenda to it, but it's a really good message, really cool idea. And we saw what Andy Serkis could do with it last time, so my just hope is that he's going to be back for King Kong.
Yeah, and Andy Serkis just gotten better. And, okay, so I usually have problems with prequels. It's just, ever since, I guess, Star Wars Episode 1.
Right.
I probably get a lot of hate for that, but I actually wasn't a fan of the prequels. But due to Planet of the Apes, the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, they actually showed that they can do prequels. Arguably, X-Men First Class was, in a sense, a prequel as well, which they did well. So it seems like this is actually a good time for prequels right now. So Skull Island, more monsters, bigger monsters, because he does come from an island of giants. So we'll see King Kong actually fight.
Yeah. So that was a bigger picture with Legendary Universal. They obviously have changed direction. They're much more, like you said, they're going to focus on monsters and that bringing that kind of to the forefront. And more important, I think they're trying to battle with these other bigger studios that are bringing us all these superhero movies. And we're at least getting 2 or 3 superhero movies a year now. So I think Legendary Universal are going to push that whole, we want to see monsters. They announced Pacific Rim 2 a little while back, so that's probably their focus. Now, let's move to one of the big guys, obviously, Warner Brothers DC. They had a really big panel, as usual. Unfortunately, in my opinion, they didn't announce enough information, but I walked away pretty happy. Everything that I've been seeing over the internet these past couple of days, obviously just the Saturday when all this news dropped, we got a lot of big information. What were your first thoughts?
Okay, obviously we all know that DC's trying to catch up. They're trying to catch up to Marvel's big thing. So I'm very excited for what DC has, and they did keep a tight lip. So it does kind of suck. I want to hear more things, and of course, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
And Mad Max. So Mad Max, how do you feel about Mad Max?
Mad Max is such a cool franchise. I remember when the first movie, looking back at the trailers from 1979, that was like the first Mad Max. I think they had Mad Max like a long time before that, but Mel Gibson's Mad Max is really iconic.
Yes.
Iconic 80s film franchise. We have several of those. So it's pretty cool. I think that this movie, my only issue with it is that it's been in development hell for a very long time. I think it was in pre-production around 2010, 2012. I was hearing rumors about a new Mad Max, specifically starring Tom Hardy, which is really cool. He obviously nailed it. The interesting thing about this trailer is that it doesn't focus too much on Max himself. Mm-hmm. It focuses on the bigger picture that where now the scope is increased. Look at the technology that we have. The first Mad Max was filmed like on streets, like in a city, so it looked, pretty crappy. But this one obviously is sticking really true to the lore, like in this desert, this apocalyptic hell. So I really got that vibe from it. I thought like this could be like a really crass kind of movie. So I mean, the trailer was cool. I don't know. I'm a little hesitant. I'm glad that they're rebooting it. I think it's a good time to reboot it. I think we need something that's a little bit nastier and darker than all these superhero movies. So Mad Max is a good place to start, I think.
Yeah, I love post-apocalyptic movies. I always do. I actually do like the Book of Eli. My favorite movie of all time right now is actually Children of Men. So I love post-apocalyptic movies. So I am actually very excited for this. I did watch the old Mad Max, Road Warrior, and all that good stuff. So I am happy for Tom Hardy. I think Tom Hardy would play it well. The trailer I wasn't too fond of. Like, it was cool. It was showing us the world, which I'm very happy about. But all I saw was, let's torture Tom Hardy some more. Let's keep torturing Tom Hardy. So I think I just want to see a little more. But I do like the world. Everything's blowing up.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool way to start. So Mad Max was a pretty good starting point for Warner Brothers. But let's go on to something that they completely omitted from the DC panel before we get into the really big, juicy news that we have to talk about.
Yes.
No word of Shazam.
Nobody wants to talk about Shazam. That's actually it. That's it. It's just
that's it. The reason why we bring it up is such a crucial part to what could have been at the DC panel. More specifically, obviously the Rock is attached to Shazam, and one way or another, we've called it from a good year ago. I think we had these conversations before we started to really put out some information there. He's gonna be Shazam, or more importantly, he may be someone like Black Adam. He actually tweeted out this picture just about a day or two before Comic-Con actually started, and I think the quote was, "Who's gonna get it?" And of course, like 3 days before that, Hercules was right around the corner, and he did an interview with someone who he was talking about, just say the word.
Yes.
Just say the word, announcements coming soon. So we're led to believe it may be Shazam or maybe Black Adam.
See, and I think this would have done a big thing for DC because they were actually lackluster. So I think at least throw us that bone. I thought that would have been a good announcement. He is pointing just tons and tons to Shazam. I think that phrase, just say the word, and he also stated he has the same powers as Superman. That kind of just gave it away. There still is that chance, a very small chance to be Black Adam, but I think that it's gone. The percentage has gone so much to just being Shazam, and we all know it. So I don't see why he didn't just come out, just make a small wave, just pop out of nowhere and just yell Shazam and run away.
I think it would have been a really good idea for someone, perhaps in the crowd, or someone like Zack Snyder, or whatever DC head was out there, just to maybe dim the lights and just say Shazam, and boom, a big flash, so big flash of lightning bolt there, and The Rock would come out and just sit down. You don't have to tell us which character just yet, but it would have been a really good nod to it is happening. We know it's pretty much happening. My biggest issue, like you said, with DC is that they're holding back so much, and they're obviously being eaten up by the competition as far as the films go, but they did drop a big bomb on us. A big bomb. And let me just start by saying, I believe like a week ago or something, we were talking about this before Comic-Con started. I heard a rumor that there was going to be a teaser at Comic-Con.
Yes.
There was going to be a teaser. I heard that it was something along the lines of Ben Affleck in his Batcave watching the video of Zod. That kind of like really scratchy kind of image of him saying, we want him, bring him out here. So he'd be watching that just to kind of show that there's a parallel universe with Batman and Superman. But they dropped a mind blown of a teaser. I couldn't ask for anything better. I walked away happy. I thought it was perfect the way it was. I thought a really interesting thing was like in my mind rolling around, how is Batman going to compete with Superman? Now we know this is the Dark Knight Rises, at least an allusion to it, which with the armor. It looked really cool. We saw Superman is obviously very angst about something. We saw a good look at Gotham City and the Bat Signal. So what were your thoughts with the teaser?
I wonder what's happening because we did see we did see Superman be a goody two shoes in the last movie. So I wonder what got him pissed off. Why is he pissed off at Batman? What did Batman do?
Right.
So I'm interested. I'm excited. So this did exactly what I wanted to do. This is Batman versus Superman, not the Batman v Superman that we keep hearing about. See, and that's what I want to see. I want to see some kind of conflict between Batman and Superman. That's exactly what they teased. So I'm scared about Batman v Superman v Wonder Woman v everybody else. So I am happy to actually see them two actually just stare each other down.
Right.
I was happy about it.
Yeah, it was good, and you brought up another good person that they added to the trifecta of comic book heroes. We got our look at Wonder Woman. Let me just, again, no disclaimer, I call this. I think we both did. We knew they would drop the Wonder Woman picture at Comic-Con. We kind of already had our sources from that. But that being said, it wasn't exactly the method in which I would have dropped the teaser image, but it was the costume that we did talk about, which was the true Amazonian, princess kind of armor.
Yes.
It looks a lot like everyone's making references to Xena.
Yes, I do see Xena.
So I mean, it looks at that, and some people complain in that sense. But there's only so many Greek, kind of Roman-esque warrior, costumes that you can actually put on a girl. So I like it. I love it. I think she looks amazing. Two things that are bothering me quite a bit, as you can see from the picture, is one, her skirt is way too short. It's not really realistic at all. I was hoping for like the Injustice Gods Among Us skirt, where it was just like kind of actually Roman warrior, like they have like long strips. Those were the men wore. So it would have looked a little more realistic to me, much more battle armor. And then the boots look really cool, but they have heels on them.
Yes.
We're being a little nitpicky with it, but as far as when you talk about fashion versus style versus actual function, the heels aren't really realistic when she's battling up against Superman or Batman. Maybe she's not going to fight them per se, but whoever she is battling, kind of odd kind of thing to throw in there.
Well, get with the times, Grandpa. We got the short skirt because that is today. We got the heels because that is today. And who doesn't run with heels anymore? It's just, I don't know. My problem here is the lack of color. I do remember that we needed that. I am kind of happy it didn't use a jean jacket. So they are trying to keep it up to date, up to today with the skirt and actually the heels, which I'm sort of against. I am sort of against it. Obviously, it is inspired by Xena or Athena, if you want to say that. So, there isn't much they could do with it. So I get it. But I guess she will not be quote-unquote human. She will actually come from her island because nobody would dress like this.
Yeah, it's odd. I think it suits the tone. Mm-hmm. It does. But I don't know. It's something about it a little odd. And then, another aspect we were talking about is what do you think of her size? As far as the height, as far as her width goes, what are you thinking as far as her size goes?
Xena is supposed to have a little more thighs. I always saw her a little more Chun-Li type. So I think she's too skinny still. Yeah. She did bulk up a bit, but I think she's still a little too small. But what else can you really do with it?
So that's kind of all you can say as far as that goes. So moving on, obviously the next big head from Comic-Con, Disney Marvel. They obviously have tons of plans. We've actually, have gotten word that they have plans up to 2028. That's what Feige says. But they still made a good presence at Comic-Con. They dropped a lot of good details. More importantly, they dropped a lot of good images.
Yes.
My biggest issue coming out of Disney Marvel is that they didn't release any official images. Everything else was just what you got from Comic-Con, whatever you got from some of the fans there, just posting up Twitter pictures, that kind of stuff. Whereas, these other two heads like DC and Legendary, they actually released some official images to the public. So that was my only gripe with that. But on that, they had a really big presence, as always. They have obviously a lot of content to talk about. Did they talk about enough content there to satisfy all of our comic needs?
Okay, so right now we got Ant-Man. Ant-Man has been messy for a while, ever since Edgar Wright was kicked out. Arguably kicked out, or he just left. This poster, I like it. It's a cool poster, sci-fi-ish, but it does look kind of fan-made. It does look like very simple, kind of cartoony. I'm excited for Ant-Man. I want to see Ant-Man, but this poster, I feel like it was a little lackluster.
Yep.
It looks somewhat unprepared.
Yeah, there's a signature on the bottom left corner, so you can see. Yeah, someone did either paint it or draw it. It looks pretty cool. It shows us at least the the big power that he's able to change size. Obviously, they're writing in. The biggest thing that again my gripe with it is that there's word that they showed a teaser trailer of Ant-Man riding around the city. I would have liked to see that. Mm-hmm. I think they should have released it to the public. I don't know, Comic-Con, part of the big commotion was that you get to see everything before everyone else, but this movie's only a year away.
Yes.
And we know Avengers is already half-baked. It's already almost ready. Ant-Man, I don't think they're ready at all to show anything. I believe shooting starts in 2 weeks, so maybe that might be it.
Yeah.
But if they showed that sort of CGI trailer to the fans, I would have liked to seen it to been like, okay, is this movie really happening or not? I'm still a little concerned with that, man. I don't think it will be delayed. But I do think that what we talked about is that this may be a standalone film. I'm not entirely sure if this film is actually going to grow into a big franchise.
Something I do want to state before we move on was I'm happy that he's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd, he's a pretty man, and of course they want to show Paul Rudd because he is the actor. But I'm happy that he's actually okay with wearing the full mask.
Yeah, it actually looks really, really good.
Like
it does suit it. It suits the times, and it loses pretty well to go to Scott Lang. So, yeah, as you said, moving on to Avengers. Avengers obviously is their big. That's their Batman v Superman for the year, of course, because the movie's only a year away. We're not gonna see Comic-Con 2015 Avengers. It's gonna come up right before. Yes. So I think the biggest head for Comic-Con 2015 will be Ant-Man. Possibly we'll move on to say what else might be there. But with Avengers, what did you think of their presence? What did you think about their panel and the whole cast coming out?
I was very happy with it. I noticed how big it was. That thing is getting bigger and bigger. Sadly, Joss Whedon wasn't there. Scarlett Johansson was just pregnant, so she wasn't there. But it was cool. It was cool. I did like the reveals of the posters.
Yeah.
That was really, really nice. I did like that everybody was playful. It's just they go their charisma between everyone. It works so well. I was really happy with that panel. That obviously stole the show for me. So we got to see the Vision.
Yeah, that's two things that really got me from Marvel was just the Vision confirmed, and the Ant-Man poster is pretty cool, and actually the Ant-Man panel. Like you said with the Avengers, they all came out. They were dancing to Michael Jackson and stuff. Robert Downey Jr. of course just acting on stage, throwing around roses and stuff. It's fun. I think it's again it goes back to the tone of Marvel. If you notice with DC's panel, they right after the teaser trailer, which I thought was nuts, they had Affleck, Cavill, and Goodell come out of the stage, and they just kind of walked down there, just kind of waved, and I think Affleck just his hands in his pockets the whole time. It suits the tone, and it's really interesting to see how both these studios have different tones. Obviously, Batman v Superman is a much more dramatic, dark tone, which I absolutely love, and you really love the Marvel fanfare, the whole the epicness of this. And I will say, with Avengers 1, from start to finish, pretty much, I had this big old grin on my face. So I think that's what Avengers 2 is going to bring. Obviously, though, when they released James Spader, he actually came on stage, there was that bit of tension there. We saw that tension of this is going to be a much more emotional, moody film.
Yes.
But again, my biggest gripe, we didn't get to see anything, at least from everyone outside of Comic-Con. They showed a really nice teaser there. It started with the whole group from that Entertainment Weekly spot inside Stark's apartment, and they were all trying to pick up Thor's hammer. And no one else could do it besides Captain America, which is pretty cool. He kind of nudged the hammer, and then they showed some Ultron footage. But again, I would have liked to see it, even if a bootleg version. But I don't know what's going on. I guess maybe they didn't allow cell phones there. They didn't allow, I don't know, whatever it is, which is great for them. But I would have liked to have seen some of this footage. Where again, we're almost a year away, not a single trailer yet. Not anything.
We're not going to see this footage for 8 months, which is a very long time. But just keep excited.
Yeah, that's all we really can do. I got to say, maybe one of the faults for Marvel with Disney is they didn't really show enough release dates. They did announce Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yes.
Which I think when we saw the 17 minutes of it, I think we knew that already. I think this is going to be a franchise for sure. I mean,
that was amazing.
You see it coming into the Lego Marvel game. There's Guardians that came out at the very end. Disney Infinity 2.0 is going to have Guardians of the Galaxy in it, so they're merchandising this franchise like crazy. I think it will sell. You have 4 different distinct characters that kids can love with Groot and Rocket, and then you have some of the more serious things, people like Drax and Gamora. So I think it's merchandising gold. Yes. I think that they're going to make a lot of money off it, merchandising obviously, and they announced a July 2017 release date for it. So are you excited for Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
I am. I'm actually very excited for Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. So it is expanding the universe. That is exactly what they're doing. So there's a lot to do there. So I'm actually very excited for it, and I'm happy they're going to keep going because it looks hilarious. It looks like it's a movie made for me. It has that dark humor. It's witty. It's fun, and it's hardcore.
Yep.
So I'm very happy about it.
And a note for that, Guardians of the Galaxy, we will have our review up on Friday. We're going to see the movie this Thursday, and we'll let you guys know exactly what we think about it this Friday. So right before we wrap up this video really quick, what do you want to see out of DC Warner Brothers 2015 Comic-Con?
So that's a tough one, okay? Because there's so much that they kept under wraps, so there's like so much that I want them to actually just release.
Yeah.
So I can't really say. I do want a peek at who is going to be the Flash, because they stated that they're not going to cross over worlds. So I do want to see the Flash. I do want to see Green Lantern. I just want to see the cast. I guess I want to see more reveals. I want them to actually speak. This time, I want Zack Snyder to actually hand over a microphone to at least one of the cast members. Honestly, I want to hear Batfleck. I want to hear him talk about being Batman. I'm sure he's excited. He looked excited. So I want to hear a little bit about that. I want to just see anything, really.
I like you said, I want to know their plans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that 2015 is a really good year to say, you know, Marvel they released 5 release dates, okay, up until 2019. So I want to see what is DC's plan. You don't have to tell us what movies are coming out, but give us the release dates. Give us what are the pending projects, you know. And obviously, I want to see at least something. I don't think we're going to see Flash or Green Lantern yet. We obviously have Cyborg and Wonder Woman in Dawn of Justice. So I think that the biggest thing that they could do for 2015 is, as you said, have Ben Affleck, Cavill, Godot, and Eisenberg. I want to see a picture of Lex Luthor. I want to see how he's going to look. You know
what? Yeah, I'm excited for that. Actually, I forgot all about Jesse Eisenberg.
So I mean, maybe we'll have a trailer for 2015. I think 2015 they're going to show at least a good 2-minute trailer with dialogue, with all that kind of stuff. We have to see Alfred, how he's going to look, all these kind of things. So there's so much to bring, so much to catch up, like I said. And then the biggest thing they can show is, and that one more thing at the very end is drop Shazam, drop someone else. And, you know, is Cyborg going to get his own movie after Justice League? Maybe Sandman. Are we going to see Sandman at DC? So, I mean, whatever it is, bring something big.
Wow, Sandman would be amazing.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be at Comic-Con, but at least that year. But it is a good name drop to go ahead and bring in front of this whole massive crowd. And then real quick, Disney Marvel, what are you expecting for 2015?
Okay, so again, another thing is just that they have this plan for so long. Yeah. So I guess I just want to see them finally cast Doctor Strange. I want to see Doctor Strange hang out. I was really happy about Josh Brolin coming out with the Infinity Gauntlet. I just messed up. That made me excited. So I actually want to see somebody in a costume. Like I did like Loki coming out. Like he always just comes out and says hello to everyone. In this Comic-Con, actually his staff was somewhere on some machine, which I thought was very interesting. So I want to see somebody hang out, somebody come out, somebody in costume. Like it would have been nice if Vision came out in costume in this one. That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think that would have been one of the best things they could do. You know, I don't know how far along they are with filming the Vision kind of stuff, but Vision or Ant-Man for next year, I think would be obviously Ant-Man's going to be at the forefront for 2015, so we're going to see all that. I think what you said, Paul Rudd coming out in costume, you know, something like that, maybe bringing the helmet and then taking it off.
Yes.
Something that would be pretty epic. I mean, that movie has been in hell, so I need to see something really good for that. I'm really skeptical about how this will turn out. Yeah. So, you know, something like that. And then, of course, we'll have seen a movie by then, so that would be pretty cool.
I trust in Marvel. I have this hope in Marvel, but the messy one is Ant-Man.
Yeah, of course. As you said, just, you know, Ant-Man is pretty messy, but I mean, there is a hope at the end of the tunnel, which is Doctor Strange. You know, so if they bring something about Doctor Strange, maybe what are these other 2018 movies going to be? Miss Marvel, Black Panther, whatever it is going to be. Maybe throwing out a logo would be pretty cool.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
just a title card.
Yeah. So everything that's comic related, film related, just keep it locked right here on JVD.